Monday, April the 29th of 2019. If you saw my video from Friday about my mail call, then you saw me hold up this magazine, Ghostbusters 2 Star Invaders. The date on this magazine says spring 1985, but then it also says copyright 1984 by Liberty Communications, Inc. So somewhere between 84 and 85. Individual copy price, $2.50, $2.95 Canada. Okay, so what's the deal about this? You may be wondering. Let me roll the clock back just a little bit. We've been having a lot of conversations lately online about Eddie Murphy's involvement in the original Ghostbusters 1984. Was he offered the role that became Winston? Did he turn it down? And I've done some explorations. I know one source that I think a lot of the quotes came from, and that one's probably going to lead to being a pet peeve video for me eventually. I still want to do some more research because I found an intriguing soundbite the other day that I want to kind of explore fully. The pet peeve, though, is that everybody talks about Eddie Murphy. Nobody talks about Gregory Hines, who they did actually talk to about the role of Winston Zeddemore, and so I want to talk about why is Eddie the famous one, the urban myth, and Gregory Hines that we know for sure was even spoken to, nobody talks about. So that kind of bothers me. But the first public association, because before I owned a copy of Making Ghostbusters, I remember seeing this seeing this magazine rather, in stores. And I kind of looked at it and went, yeah, I know what this is. There was a previous magazine very similar to this. I wish I had bought it now in hindsight, because like this one, it's going to wind up costing me more than $2.50. But in hindsight, I look back on this one that came out after The Empire Strikes Back and before Return of the Jedi. There was a magazine that had an article, and I was at the grocery store with my grandmother, and I pick it up and I'm reading it, and it said that the other, remember in The Empire Strikes Back, and he says, that boy's our last hope. No, there is another. It had an article about how the other that Yoda talked about was Yoda's twin brother, Adoy. A-D-O-Y, Yoda spelled backwards, who Yoda was going to die in Return of the Jedi. I got that part right, but it was going to be a huge state funeral with all of the rebellion's leaders in attendance, and after that, then Adoy would take Yoda's place and become the new, Jedi force in the galaxy. No, Leia was the other, as we know now, even though she really only evidenced her force powers one time, and it was Mary Poppins. So, back to this magazine, though. So, I knew pretty much there was no Adoy character in Return of the Jedi in 83, so by the time I saw this magazine in 84 or 85, I knew to take it with a grain of salt. I flipped through it. I said, this is crap. This is BS. Recently, though, my friend Andy Teal tagged me in something on Facebook about this magazine, and I went looking for some more pictures of it online. And I found a few scans, just a couple of them, but not the rest. And so the text was incomplete in the scans that I was seeing and everything. And I thought, well, I would kind of like to read that article. And I went to some different websites, Facebook, different places where people had said, oh, I have a copy of that. And I would contact these people. And one guy was like, oh, maybe I can find it. One woman never replied. And on Etsy, I was watching an auction for one that was a little more, or a listing for one that was a little more than I wanted to pay. But hey, guess what? Then a couple of days later, spontaneously, they lowered the price. So I said, I'm just going to go ahead and buy one. It looked like it's in nice, good condition. And it arrived, as you know, Friday. So the first thing, of course, that catches your eye is this big alien gremlin looking thing here in the No Ghost logo. I hope this is all visible, that I'm not too badly in shadow. But let's look at what else it says. Collector's Edition, Star Invaders, exclusive photos, Ghostbusters 2. Hey, they got the Roman numerals spelling, that's correct. Ghosts from Outer Space. The new film, a projection. They're projecting what they think is going to happen. President calls in Ghostbusters. And it's got the price here again. Giant painted Ghostbusters centerfold by one of America's top artists. Well, I don't know who the top artist is, but here's that centerfold. The only part that's painted is the gremlin looking thing with the big spike coming off of its head. But that's a photo, and that's a photo. But anyway, and then it says special interview with Dunes hero Kyle MacLachlan, which they misspelled, I'm pretty sure. Eddie Murphy joins the Ghostbusters in Ghostbusters 2. Well, that's kind of newsworthy. That's the part that we really want to buy the magazine for, right? And then special ghost fighting weapons. And right here, zombies and ghosts. Zombies join ghosts to take over Earth. Oh no, not zombies. So yeah, right there on the front cover, you should be able to suss that this isn't really good, reliable information. So let's get into it. Let's start looking at the articles because there are a few actually. Again, this all kind of reiterates everything you saw on the front cover. Also, there's an interview here with Arnold Schwarzenegger about the Terminator. So, but the Ghostbusters articles, the first one is by Sebastian Toombs. Eddie Murphy joins Ghostbusters in Ghostbusters 2. Okay, so it talks about Ghostbusters. And then, rumors abound about what the new production will be. One rumor, oh wait. They said Ghostbusters might be spun off into a TV show. Parentheses, does anyone remember the Saturday morning show Ghostbusters? It starred Bob Denver of Gilligan's Island. No, it didn't. And Aykroyd and Columbia actually bought the rights so they could use the name. No, that was Forrest Tucker and Larry Storch and Bob Burns that were in that. So it was decided to do Ghostbusters 2 instead of a TV show. Rumors abound about what the new production will be. One rumor is that it will concern alien ghosts. Another is that it will be a remake of the classic Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. We've taken the liberty of doing what could be a good story for the new film. Let's see what you think of it. And then they have this little story here, which is bad. Spengler and Zedmore go to the town that's haunted and are put up in the home of the mayor, and the mayor's attractive daughter, Rosalie, or maybe it's Roselie, I don't know. This is Rosealie. That's not any kind of name I've ever seen. Rosalie, Rosie Allie. That's just not the way people would spell their name, I don't think. I don't know, people spell their names crazy ways. So, she's coming on to Spengler, and then they go into her bedroom and close the door. Things are quiet until a scream is heard from outside. Spengler rushes out of the room, putting on his shirt. Spengler's the character you choose for that scene? Really? I don't know. Anyway, so the two of them discover a huge UFO. They call in the other Ghostbusters. By the way, Venkman, when they call headquarters, which is at the World Trade Center, Venkman is getting drunk with several of his young female fans. The phone rings. Venkman picks it up. City Morgue, you kill him, we chill him. Okay. Spengler, I believe these apparitions may be of an extraterrestrial order. So that sobers him up. And with government funding, they respond with the Ghostbusters Rapid Deployment Force. The Ghostbusters commanded a group of highly trained, highly armed paramilitary parapsychologists, all ready to destroy ghosts wherever they might be. They fly to the town where Spengler and Zedmore are in a C-5A Hercules, instantly recognizable with the Ghostbusters emblem festooned about it. About it? So the parapsychologists, that's not my joke, that's theirs, 100 of them now parachute down. I guess that would make them parapsychologists. And they parachute out of the Hercules down to the town, and almost instantly, all of those guys are captured. Only Venkman and Stantz make it to the mayor's house where Spengler and Zedmore already are. Then they encounter this alien who is the great Myrunn. Myyrunn. And They shoot him with their guns, basically, and it takes care of the problem. I mean, that's really it. The para-Ghostbusters do get freed and add their weapons to the fray, blasting all through the ghost flying saucer. I don't know. And Venkman's last line is, "I hope this all taught you a lesson. Get tough on illegal aliens." Okay, so then there's an article about Dan Aykroyd, which, I don't know, it's got some information in there that seems to be mostly accurate. Several pages. Then there's an article about Bill Murray. Next article is Arnold Schwarzenegger for 4 pages. And then it goes back to Ghostbusters. Another article about Ghostbusters, about how the special effects were done. Okay, page 31. Look at this photo of Venkman and Spengler as the containment unit is blowing. Well, wait, let's go back to page 23. Same photo. Okay, so special effects. Special laser light guns, atomically powered, were used. I'm beginning to think maybe the people that wrote this magazine, English wasn't their first language. Also, they spelled laser with a Z, which doesn't work for me because it's an acronym. It stands for light amplified by the stimulated emission of radiation, not the stimulated emission of radiation. And then they've got some weird thing. Better watch out for those ghosts, but it's a picture of Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis, and the upper photo here, which looks like it's from Creepshow, has covered up Bill Murray's head, and then down at the bottom, another picture from Creepshow of Fluffy, the creature in the crate, and then you get this color photo, and then that middle magazine poster, and then another color photo. Oh, sorry, upside down. So, all right, and then there's the Kyle MacLachlan interview, and here they do spell his name correctly, I believe, but it does not match what they spelled it like on the front cover, so I don't know. And then picture of Sean Young that's kind of risque there. Several pages on Kyle MacLachlan, an article about Star Trek for several pages, and then zombies. They spelled it right here, but this is an article about Day of the Dead. It has nothing to do with Ghostbusters. It's an article with George Romero and his films, and then the sexy women of V. So I'm getting the feeling like maybe the people that put this magazine out, and then here's the inside back cover. And there's a very blurry picture of Slimer, similar to a photo that's on one of my Japanese periodicals on the back cover. So that's the entire cover-to-cover of the Ghostbusters 2 new film. So Zobies really didn't join ghosts in that article that we read, the projection. And then the main thing that it absolutely doesn't even talk about is Eddie Murphy joining the cast of Ghostbusters. Unless he's one of the parapsychologists, that's nowhere to be found. Oh, they show a lot of photos of Eddie, and a lot of the captions say Eddie joins the Ghostbusters. Eddie's not afraid of any ghosts. Eddie's this, Eddie's that. But in the article, in the text of the article, there was nothing. So it's like a total slapped on at the last second. We're going to get you to buy our magazine by putting this on the... It's crap. This is crap. There's a couple of photos in there, black and white photos, that I'm like, I don't think I've seen that photo before. If you're really obsessed with, Ghostbusters stills, yeah, it's not, it wasn't a good purchase for $2.50. It wasn't a great purchase for the amount of money that I paid for it. But hey, if you just have to have it because you like bad fanfic about Ghostbusters, hey, I'll say this for it. It did not put them back to a 0 point and show them going into business again. It picked up where the first film left off. Okay, well, the camera shut itself off because it overheated. So now I have turned on the car and the air conditioner. I apologize if the noise has suddenly changed. But I will say this about this magazine, about their little fanfic story. At least they didn't try to tell the same Ghostbusters go into business story. They did at least pick up where the first film left off and had the Ghostbusters being a success. And here's the really important wording that I want to point out. Ghostbusters headquarters, World Trade Center. It's 1986 since the great ghost exorcism by the Ghostbusters, You misspelled Zedmore. The Ghostbusters are not just celebrities now, they are international heroes. The government, no longer disbelievers, have now funded the Ghostbusters to create a ghost early warning system, and their new headquarters is in the World Trade Center, where, as Vinkman put it, King Kong got bumped off. There's several references in here where he has the Ghostbusters make references to other movies. Close Encounters, E.T. It's like, yeah, I don't think most people in movies go around talking about movies that they like.
Occasionally you meet a nice one. Starman, E.T.
That kind of sounds like something the publisher and writer of a magazine about movies would do. So I feel like that's them projecting themselves into the characters. So that makes all the scenes where they are bedding the mayor's daughter and getting drunk with their female fans seem a little bit like wish fulfillment. You know, it doesn't reek of someone that's comfortable and successful with the ladies writing something like that. My 2 cents. I don't know. So yeah, if you just have to have one, they can be found. Otherwise, I'm going to scan some of these pages and some of these photos and probably put them on my Facebook and probably offer them to Spook Central, or if anybody else wants copies of it, you'll be able to find it at some point. You won't have to pay money for this. All right, so thank you so much for watching this extended rant about Star Invaders, and maybe someday I'll find that specific issue where they talk about Adoy. Thanks for watching.